Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are wading into some very, very heavy waters. We're talking about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Episode 5, Shadows and Steel. And look, I think we can just come out and say it. This might be the single best hour of television this whole franchise has produced in years.
It is absolutely heart-wrenching. I mean, it's a masterclass in tragedy.
It is. The weight of this episode is just immense.
But what's so impressive is how it hides that tragedy in plain sight.
Yeah.
It kind of lures you in with all the excitement, the tournament.
Yeah, the spectacle.
And then in the final seconds, it just pulls the rug right out from under you.
Absolutely. We finally got the trial of 7. This is the big climax we've all been waiting for. And it delivered on the spectacle, but man, did it deliver a twist that it physically hurts.
It does. It really does. But we aren't here to just, cry about the ending.
Although, let's be honest, we might do a little bit of that later.
Oh, for sure. Crying is for the credits. No, we're here to excavate, because underneath all the clashing steel and the obvious plot points, there is this whole other layer of storytelling that's almost invisible on a first watch.
Blink and you miss it stuff.
Exactly. Visual details, tiny character choices that reframe the entire lore, and some foreshadowing that makes the ending feel not just sad, but inevitable.
Totally inevitable. We have combed through this thing frame by frame to find the stuff that tells the real story. We're going to look at the hidden psychology of the fighters, that secret history buried in the flashback.
And even tiny production details like sound design and background stunts that explain why it all went so terribly wrong.
Okay, so grab your shield, maybe check if it's painted properly first, and let's get into it.
I think we have to start with the psychology of the fight itself. There's this fascinating theory introduced right at the beginning that acts as a sort of thesis statement for the entire episode.
Okay, unpack this for us. So the episode kicks off. We've got Baelor Breakspear giving his pregame pep talk to the team, and he drops this reminder that the other side have 3 Kingsguard members, which is a huge problem.
A huge problem, but also a tactical opportunity. The Kingsguard, they've sworn this holy oath. They cannot harm royal blood.
Right, and Baelor is counting on that. He knows they'll hesitate before striking him or his brother, Maekar.
But then you get this great little moment. Sir Robin Reisling, he asks a question. He says, "Is that honorable, sir, to use their vows against them?"
And Baelor, who's always the pragmatist, just says, "The gods will let us know." Now, I want to pause here because this interaction, it sets up something massive for Lionel Baratheon, doesn't it?
It totally does. By giving that line about honor to Robin Reisling, the show clears the deck for Lionel Baratheon, the Laughing Storm, to come in with something completely new, a whole different philosophy.
Instead of worrying about honor, he just turns to Baelor and says, "Mother loved you best."
Yeah.
I loved that line, but I have to admit, at the time, I thought it was just a joke, a little jab.
It sounds like it. And he follows it up with this theory. No one fights more fiercely than a man neglected by his mother. It just sounds like locker room banter.
Totally, a throwaway insult.
Yes, but if you stop looking at it as a joke and you actually apply this, this mother theory to the outcome of the trial, it stops being funny.
Oh.
It becomes a blueprint for who lives and who dies in that arena.
Okay, that's a bold claim. Let's stress test it. The evidence. Baelor. First son, heir to the throne.
And if you look at him, the dark hair, he takes after his mother, Miriam Martell. The show implies he was favored, the golden child, he was loved.
The perfect prince.
And what happens to him?
He dies.
Exactly. Now, Maekar, youngest son.
The spare.
Right. Likely neglected. He's got a lifetime of resentment built up. He's called the Anvil because he just takes hits while everyone else gets the glory. And in that fight, he is terrifying.
He fights with this blind ferocity that, inadvertently kills his own brother.
But look at Dunk's. I mean, talk about neglected. His mother just walked out on him. He grew up in the gutter.
Yeah, total abandonment. And Dunk, even though he's untrained and he's terrified, he wins against impossible odds. He fights like a man with nothing to lose.
Because he never had anything to lose.
But wait, I have to challenge this a little. Because later in the flashback, we see that dying soldier. He's in the mud and he's crying out for his mother.
Yes, he is.
Doesn't that sort of humanize him?
It does, but look at it through Lionel's philosophy. The fact that he's calling for her implies she was there, that she loved him. And because she loved him, he wasn't hardened enough to survive.
That is incredibly dark. It's like it's subverting that whole fantasy trope where, thinking of your mother gives a hero strength.
Yeah, here's the opposite. Love makes you soft. Neglect makes you a survivor.
It's a unique philosophy for this world, and it just adds this tragic layer to all the violence. It suggests that survival in Westeros comes from a place of, like, emotional deficit.
If you're whole, you break. If you're already broken, you survive.
Speaking of being broken, let's talk about fear. Because before the steel even starts clashing, we get these great moments with Dunk and Egg that seem funny but are actually masking pure terror.
That banter scene right before they get on the horses.
Yeah. Dunk tells Egg, "You best be here when I come back, rob me, and I'll hunt you down with dogs." And Egg has this cute little reaction.
It's a wonderful callback to episode 2, back when they didn't trust each other at all.
Right, he was genuinely worried Egg would steal his horse.
And now it's an inside joke. But think about the context. Dunk was literally vomiting just moments before this.
Right, he is sick with nerves. They're using comedy to stop from just completely falling apart.
And the show does such an incredible job visualizing that fear. There's this tiny, tiny detail when Dunk is putting on his helmet.
The sound design.
The sound design here is subtle, but brilliant. You hear this rattling clack, clack, clack. His hands are shaking so badly, the helmet is just vibrating against his gorget. He's physically trembling.
And then immediately, the cut to Arryn Brightflame.
And the contrast is just stark. Arryn slides his visor shut. Click. It's smooth, cold, no rattle, no hesitation.
It just shows you the difference between a nervous novice and a trained sociopathic killer.
It really raises the stakes. You realize, oh, Dunk is actually way out of his depth here.
And then the fight starts and Dunk just freezes. He's a statue.
He locks up. The sensory overload just hits him. And who saves him? It's not Baelor, it's not Lionel, it's Egg.
From the sideline.
From the sidelines, he screams, "Up and go."
Up and go. That's the command for Thunder, his horse.
It is, and it's this huge payoff from their training in episode 3. Remember, Thunder wouldn't listen to Egg at first. Here, Egg basically remote starts the horse because Dunk is paralyzed.
But that is such a cool detail. It proves Egg isn't just a mascot, he's part of the team.
But it doesn't save Dunk for long. He takes the lance right to the gut, and his shield, the one Tancel painted,
shattered in a second. Just heartbreaking symbolism. You know, the art, the romance, it literally breaks under the pressure of real violence.
And then Arryn hits Dunk so hard, he sends him on a trip through time.
Yeah, let's talk about this time travel knockout. Dunk gets concussed so badly he flashes back 13 years. We're suddenly in a field of bodies. Dunk's just a kid looting corpses.
Usually flashbacks can be, just exposition. But this sequence is a goldmine for lore hunters.
So what did you find?
Okay, first, geography. A casual viewer might just assume this is the Battle of the Redgrass Field. That's the big famous battle from the books.
But it's not.
Look at the background. Way in the distance, you can clearly see the Red Keep.
Oh, wow. I missed that completely.
Yeah, the Redgrass Field is way out west. The Red Keep is in King's Landing. This means this battle happened right on the doorstep of the capital.
So it's a skirmish the histories might have glossed over?
Exactly. But for the people on the ground, it was devastating. And speaking of the people involved, you see some specific banners in the mud.
I saw Hightower.
You see the Hightower banner and you see Lannister banners.
The Lannisters, we haven't seen them much yet.
No, but this confirms they were heavily involved as Targaryen loyalists during the rebellion. It connects this era to the history we know from the main series. It grounds everything.
But what's fascinating is Dunk says the Black Dragon is dead. He's talking about Demon Blackfyre, the rebel king.
Right, the man who tore the realm apart.
But look at the reaction of the other looters, the other orphans.
They don't care.
They do not care at all. It means nothing to them.
And that's such a profound commentary on class, isn't it?
Yeah.
For the High Lords, this is an ideological war about who sits on a throne. For the Orphans of Flea Bottom, it's just an opportunity.
It's just a chance to steal boots and find food. The politics don't trickle down to the gutter.
And in the middle of all this, we meet a very drunk Sir Arlen of Pennytree.
This scene really recontextualizes Arlen for us. We think of him as the stoic mentor. Here, he's just wasted.
But why? I don't think he's just celebrating survival.
Yeah.
We know from the lore that his nephew, Roger of Pennytree, died in this rebellion.
So this is the immediate aftermath.
This is Arlen drowning the sorrow of losing his squire, his own blood. He's drinking to forget Roger.
Which adds so much weight to why he picks up Dunk. He's filling that void. And then Dunk's friend, Rafe, asks for words for a dead man, a prayer. And Dunk says,
I don't know any words.
That is foreshadowing with a capital F. He doesn't know the words here. Years later, when Arlen dies, he still doesn't really know the words, and it implies that when he knighted Raymond Fossaway,
He probably didn't know the words then either.
it just adds to that feeling that Dunk's an imposter, that he's winging it the entire time.
Before we leave the flashback, there's one fantastic Easter egg. The path they're walking on.
The filming location. It's the dark hedges in Belfast. It's the King's Road from Game of Thrones.
The exact same spot where Brienne of Tarth and Jaime Lannister walked in Season 2.
And since we know Brienne is Dunk's direct descendant.
It's a deliberate visual link across generations. Dunk is walking the same path his great-great-granddaughter will. It's just a beautiful little nod for the superfans.
I love that. Okay, snap back to the present. Dunk wakes up from the concussion. He's in the middle of this chaos, about to be trampled by Maekar.
And this is where we see why Baelor Breakspear is an absolute legend.
Someone jumps in to save Dunk.
It's Baelor. Now catch this detail. Maekar is on a horse, charging full tilt. Baelor is on foot.
That's a death sentence. The horse wins every time.
Usually.
Mm-hmm.
But Baelor, from his stationary position, strikes Maekar with such force that he unhorses him with a single blow. It shows this incredible strength and skill that we rarely get to see from him. We finally see the warrior side of the philosopher prince.
He's a beast. And speaking of beasts, in the background, there's a whole subplot happening with Raymond Fossaway and his cousin Stefan.
The Apple War.
We saw Stefan use that specific takedown move on Raymond in episode 1.
And here, Raymond uses that exact same move to beat Stefan. It is perfect poetic justice. He goes full rage mode. Stefan called him useless, and Raymond proves him wrong in the most violent way possible.
I was cheering for him. But the main event is Dunk versus Arion. Dunk loses his weapon. He's just beating him with his shield and then his fists. He goes kind of feral.
He does. And there's a theory about the specific injury Dunk inflicts here. It's gruesome, but it fits perfectly.
Oh, what did I miss?
Remember Arion's threat to Egg? He threatened to gild him, to make him a sister.
Horrifying stuff, yeah.
Well, look at where Dunk is hitting Arion in that frenzy. He's not going for the face. He is hammering the groin over and over.
Ooh.
It looks like he's inflicting that specific injury on Arion. A brutal, ironic justice, visiting Arion's own threat right back on him.
That is effective. Meanwhile, Maekar is fighting Lionel Baratheon, and Maekar is playing dirty.
He attacks the horse, which is a huge taboo in Attorney. Maekar is desperate, he's losing, so he's breaking the rules of chivalry.
And there's a great continuity detail here. When Lionel falls, look at his helmet.
The antlers. Everybody loves that helmet, but when he hits the ground, they break off. In the next shot, they're gone.
Perfect continuity.
But it also symbolizes something, right? Their crests, their shields, their honor, it's all being stripped away in the mud. By the end, they just look like men.
Which brings us to the end. The tragedy, the dust settles, the good guys have won, Arion yielded, Dunk is safe.
And then Baelor takes off his helmet.
Can we talk about the sound design again? Because it haunts me.
It's visceral. Before you even see the blood, you hear this wet, sloshing sound, like liquid in a container. It tells you immediately something is terribly wrong inside his skull.
It creates a pit in your stomach before you even see it.
And then you see the skull fracture. But here's the thing. We actually see the fatal blow happen much earlier.
I missed it.
It happens in the background chaos. Maekar swings his mace. It connects with the back of Baelor's head. Baelor stays standing for another 10 minutes purely on adrenaline. He was a dead man walking.
And his final words to Dunk. I need good men, Sir Duncan.
A line that echoes through their history. But notice how he says it. He's slurring his words.
I thought he was just out of breath.
No, that's the brain injury. His motor functions are shutting down. He's trying to be the prince, trying to recruit a Kingsguard, but his brain is literally failing him as he speaks.
That is just heartbreaking. He's dying on his feet, still trying to do his duty.
And then he collapses. Right on top of Dunk.
Which fulfills the prophecy.
Darren's dream. Darren the Drunken dreamed a dragon would fall on Dunk, but the dragon would be dead.
And we spent the whole time worrying a literal dragon, or Arion, would be the one. Instead, it's the good dragon, the hope of the realm. He falls dead right on top of him.
It just hammers home the cruelty of this universe, doesn't it? It goes right back to Lionel's theory.
The honorable, the loved, like Baelor, they die first.
And the neglected, the desperate, the fierce like Maekar and Dunk, they survive. Survival in Westeros isn't about being good. It's about being hard.
So what's the takeaway here?
I think it forces us to reevaluate what being a hero means in this story. Dunk didn't win because he was a true knight in a fairy tale. He won because he fought like a street rat.
And Baelor died because he was trying to be fair. He played by the rules.
Exactly. And the rules of chivalry are beautiful, but they don't stop a mace.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on as we wrap up. If Lionel Baratheon is right, if being loved makes you soft and being neglected makes you a survivor, what does that say about Egg?
Ooh, that's the big question.
Right now, Egg is loved. He's protected by Dunk. They have this incredible bond. Is Dunk, by being a good father figure, actually making Egg too soft for the Game of Thrones?
Is he dooming him by loving him?
It's a terrifying thought
Yeah.
because we know what destiny Egg has, and if love is a weakness, he might be in trouble.
Something to think about.
Definitely. Go back and watch those background fights again. Tell us if you spot Raymun getting his revenge. We'll be back next time to pick up the pieces.
Until then.
Stay sharp.